Welcome back to The Realm. My name is Elroy. Thank you so much for joining me here at your positive place. We like to look at the good side, the great side of gaming, no matter what the news that we're going to get. And obviously today I'm coming to you with a very crazy, very random theory or an idea that hopefully Nintendo would love to do it. If not this year, maybe one day we'll get something like this. Now, we're going to talk about the Zelda 35th anniversary, and this is one of those wild things that I would love to see happen. Obviously, it probably won't happen, but how crazy would it be if this did? Now, before I do get into that, I'm going to take you back to last year's Mario 35th anniversary, and we're going to basically just talk about that one game that they released, that limited edition game, Mario 35, which was insane for all of those who got to play it. Unfortunately, I didn't get that chance to play that game, but I will say this, that game looked incredible, looked like a lot of fun, especially considering that you were battling your friends in, I believe, stages from the first 3 Mario games, and you could send your enemies that you defeated into one of their games, and hopefully be coming out as the winner for that game or that stage you were playing, which is epic, a lot of fun. And look, Nintendo, for one, definitely puts a lot of thought into the things that they're planning to do, so this is the crazy idea that I had for this. Now, obviously, the Zelda 35th anniversary is one of those things that people are looking forward to. We already have Skyward Sword HD on the way. There's probably going to be more added to that game that might not just be all that it is, but for now, let's assume that it's just a complete HD remaster for that game, and basically assume that that is not the only thing that Nintendo has in mind to do for this Zelda 35th anniversary. Obviously, we know there's a lot more coming. Zelda is probably, I would assume, the second best seller for the Nintendo brand. There's obviously Mario, which sells heaps and got that huge 35th anniversary last year, and you know what, people were going crazy for that. Let's be real, they closed that out and everyone was disappointed on March 31st. So now we are dead into, or the beginning of, the Zelda 35th anniversary year, and I know that the 35th anniversary of Zelda was in February, I believe, but you know what, this is the fiscal year, this is the 35th fiscal year that Zelda has been released, so let's talk about it like that. And let me give you this idea for a game that I think would be awesome. Now, obviously, there's a lot of speculation and hope that with the new upcoming potential Switch or Switch Pro XL, whatever you're going to call it, that hopefully Nintendo decides that they're going to bring the Nintendo 64 over to the Switch Online service. Now, with that, obviously, there are games like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask that are Zelda staples and probably some of the greatest games in history. And I'm pretty sure Ocarina of Time, aside from Breath of the Wild, is probably one of the greater known Zelda games in that franchise of games. It's potentially, consistently, one of the #1 games for people all throughout, at the time, let's go with time, that's a good word for it, but for ages, people have loved the Zelda Ocarina of Time game. That is a #1 game. You cannot deny that. That is one of the greatest games of all time, and so I was thinking, as a wild, crazy notion, that maybe, just maybe, Nintendo would go to work for Zelda's 35th in the same way that they did for Mario 35, but instead of giving us the very first game and maybe a dungeon maker or dungeon fighter, whatever you could think of, which would be honestly very basic, I was thinking maybe they could go one step further with Zelda, because we know people are starting to really love Zelda. It is, like I said, one of their better sellers. People are getting into it. It's not as crazy as Mario, but I think it can be there. It's probably #2. Let's be true and realistic about that fact, right? So the idea would be a Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizer for the entire game. I know that would be crazy if Nintendo were to do that and to give us that game, but imagine doing that for Zelda 35 just for this year, and even if they took it away on the 31st of March of next year, imagine having a Zelda Ocarina of Time officially licensed randomizer coming from Nintendo. I think that would be crazy, and let's be realistic, a lot of Twitch streamers love to use randomizers. I see this all the time from most of the Zelda games. People like to do it for the first one, for Link to the Past, and generally Ocarina of Time. I do see this happening quite often for those games, which is why I was thinking, imagine if Nintendo went crazy with this idea. I know randomizer is probably not something that Nintendo wants to get into, but knowing that they can mess around with Mario games to make the Mario 35, what if they were to think, hey, we can actually sell a lot more if we were to make a randomizer, an officially licensed one. I'm not saying that they'd sell it as a proper proper cut or whatever, maybe it would only be available to the online servers. Maybe that's how they would get around that and be able to remove it after a year. But imagine being able to play Ocarina of Time as an example, even if they did it to maybe Link to the Past. But I think Ocarina of Time would be awesome as the first foray into 3D gaming, and as one of the staples, one of the tentpoles, the best ones of Zelda to have. And people really, they know that game, they love that game. They've got the 3D remaster on the 3DS. It's one of those games that I think that if they were to do this for, it would be epic. Let's be completely realistic about that. I think that would be crazy. That is my thought. I know this is a very short video on this topic, but I thought that that would be awesome if they were to do something like that. A randomizer for Zelda Ocarina of Time, officially licensed for Zelda 35. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like and comment as well down below. That would be awesome if you could do that. If you didn't enjoy this video and don't think that a randomizer would be a good idea, how about letting me know down below why that is a bad idea, why it's the wrong thing to think of, why Nintendo could do so much better? Because I know my opinions are not always right, okay? 100% agree right there, and that's why I want to hear what you have to say. Anyways, look, until next time, I'm not going to waste your time. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for coming to the realm. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.